Okay. It is a little past 4, so we'll go and get the town council meeting of January 9th, 2023. Call that to order, and the first order of business would be the invocation and the pledge.
All right, let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this new year. And Father, as with every new year, there's new challenges, but also new opportunities. And Lord, I just ask that you please continue to guide us and lead us in the right direction and allow all of us to continue to make the best decisions for our wonderful town. And Father, we pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Terry, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, everyone should have received a copy of last month's minutes. Comments, questions, corrections?
All right, well, I move to approve the December 12th, 2022 minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second, further discussion or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I was going to abstain, Mayor. I was absent for that.
Okay. Thank you. All right. And Angie, treasurer's report, please.
Thank you. I think we did get notice that the meeting at Chesapeake Commercial Finance Corporation will be merging or changing their name to Shore United Bank by the third quarter of this year.
Yeah, I got that.
So that's,
I got that call myself, so.
That's news.
Yep.
Let's see. And then the other business that we have is the budget calendar, to approve the budget calendar for 2024 budget. That is that.
And that's just by consensus.
Pardon?
By consensus. It's just by consensus.
Yes.
So it is a late schedule, since we don't have an election this year.
Okay. Everybody see their calendar? Okay.
Looks good to me.
I have no issues.
It's after April 15th, so I appreciate it.
Yep.
Good timing.
It's the late year,
That's good.
the late budget.
Everybody good with it?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the other item is a budget amendment for, let's see, to purchase a rate for the deputy or for the town, to purchase a radar gun to be used in the town of Leonardtown by the public safety officer. And we're going to use the unused funds from Veterans Day Parade that we didn't use to pay for the radar gun. And that's what the budget amendment's for, to move that money.
And this is for up to $2,000.
Yes.
Oh, it's up to? We haven't, it's not exactly
Well,
2,000?
as of 3 o'clock today, I didn't have a final price, but I did get in at 1,876, so the 2,000 is gonna cover everything.
Okay. And that's what we already approved last month, to be able to redirect.
We talked about it,
Okay.
yes, but we hadn't done a motion or anything.
Okay.
I said that the budget amendment would come forward this month,
Right, thank
but
you.
we just made it for 2,000 even, because it was late when we got the updated cost.
No, it's just because this is like an updated or upgraded radar gun. Is that why we're doing a
The
new
one that we
one?
purchased previously, wasn't working, and they can't get parts for it anymore, so we have to
Okay.
actually purchase a new one.
And she was borrowing, right?
Yes, I mean, when
Yeah.
she can, but it makes it, we've always had, that's probably
Right.
since I've been here, the third or fourth one that we've bought, for our deputy to use.
Yeah.
So it's always available when she
Very
needs
good.
it.
Now remember what you bought. A radar gun.
So slow it down a little
Exactly.
bit. Are we allowed to borrow?
All right, well, I can go ahead, I'm sorry.
I move to approve budget amendment BJ01-23 to fund a new radar gun for the town deputy.
I'll second.
Motion and second, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Angie?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Does any have any questions?
All right. Mike Bailey, Planning Department, please.
Members, Mayor, the Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 17th at 4 o'clock. The two items on the agenda are case number 47-22, which is the Southern Maryland Orthopedics Concept Site Development Plan. And the second item is case number 83-21, which is the Dairy Queen, and that's going for the final site plan approval.
Okay. Any comments, questions for Mike?
Were there any mods to the Dairy Queen?
Well, there were
Yeah.
mods both with facade and they had quite a few comments to address from us.
Okay, good.
And they have 3 additional minor comments, but there's nothing that they can't take care of. It's just some things we caught.
So we got like an upgraded facade or something on the outside?
Correct.
Good.
So it's all, is it like what we had showed them prior, like all in brick, nice?
I mean, it's very different than what was originally
Right.
proposed, but I mean, we just got it today and we'll send it out to the board, and I mean, I think it addressed
I think
for
so.
the most part.
Yeah, it's brick and metal, and so it's not your standard.
Well, it has
Just a
some
box.
different, 3 different stones, I
Yeah.
think, and
Okay,
they're
nice.
bringing, some stone samples and stuff for people to see, so.
Good.
Okay, any other questions for Mike? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And everyone should have received the monthly police report from Corporal Roselle. Nice that she's still doing premise checks and going around the neighborhoods. Okay. And we'll move on to Lachelle, your report, please.
First item on my report is to introduce ordinance number 214, the proposed borrowing from the Community Development Administration for the wastewater treatment plant expansion. And as previously discussed, the town plans to borrow up to $9 million from the CDA funding with the state toward the nearly $19 million wastewater treatment plant expansion project. At the December meeting, Lindsay Rader with Funk and Bolton was approved as our bond counsel. Lindsay has prepared this ordinance for introduction at this meeting to meet the state and town charter requirements. We will hold a public hearing at the February meeting, and I also had included in your packet a summary of all the different items on the ordinance. Just the high points would be that we would be able to borrow up to $9 million through the CDA funding with the state. The state has also reviewed this and made sure that it meets their requirements. Our attorney has also reviewed it, as well as Lindsay as our bond counsel. And it spells out that the mayor would sign in some cases, and then I would sign in other cases. And then I will be advertising the public hearing to hold at the February meeting. And that would put this in effect before the end of March, when we should be finishing up with the CDA bond financing.
And just as a reminder, borrowing this money will be paid back through the impact fees, which does not affect the current residents. So.
And the interest rate isn't locked in until
Right, we
all
don't
of
know what
this-
that is until the bonds
Right.
go out for sale. I think it's got a 5
5 and
is the
3/4.
maximum rate on here.
Yeah, 5.75 max. Got it.
How do they issue these bonds? Do you have to go through like a broker, like
Well,
Merrill
the
Lynch
state
or
does
something?
it, and they have a group of people that are interested, and they all get sold at the same time. I think they're up over, like 20 or 30 million in projects that they have.
Mhm.
So they do it as a sale, as a bulk, all of them together.
Okay.
And
So
it's-
individuals can't buy them?
Correct. It's a housing and community development sell the bonds.
Okay, so again, this is just an introduction, it'll be
Introduction.
brought back next month for a vote. Any other comments on that?
Okay.
Okay,
The next item is to accept Phase 3 of the streets in Clark's Rest. The town has already accepted Phase 1, 1A, 2, and 2A in the Clark's Rest into our town system. The Phase 3 roads are now complete and ready to take into the system. Once accepted by the town, a 2-year maintenance bond is put into effect. And I have a drawing in there just because it gets a little confusing because we've taken them over just sections at a time. So it may be like, for instance, Heritage Lane was done in Phase 1 and Phase 2. And then now in Phase 3, there's another section of it. So we color coded this map so you could see what was taken over in each phase. And so anything in the green is what's being taken over in Phase 3. We already own the rest of them. That's colored. So all we'll have left is Phase 4, which goes, connects back to Leonard's Grant. Any questions on that one?
Shall I did. What actually is included in that maintenance bond? You said 2 or 3 years of
2.
maintenance bond?
It's a 2-year maintenance
What does
bond.
that mean?
So, if there's any failures in the asphalt or any problems with the road during that 2-year period, it goes back to Clark's Rest, Marek, to make the
Thanks.
repairs.
Okay, very good. Okay.
But from now on, we will maintain the roads as far as regular, like snow removal, street sweeping. It becomes part of our road system.
Okay, very good.
And the water
that's
and
really
sewer
just if it's a faulty installation, so.
We've already taken over water sewer separately for the first phases. Phase 3, I think we already took over water and sewer. We hadn't done the roads yet.
Gotcha. Does the water and sewer have the same 2-year or is it a win? Yeah.
2 year.
Good. That's awesome.
Any other questions?
All right, well, I move to approve acceptance of the Phase 3 streets and Clark's Rest into the town road system.
I'll second.
Motion second, further discussion. Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item is approval of the downtown waterfront plan number 3 with Mahan Reichel and Arnett Muldrow. In February of 2022, the consultants from Mahan Reichel and Arnett Muldrow gave a presentation for the completion of Phase 2 of the downtown and waterfront plan. Phase 2 was a follow-up to the original 2019 downtown plan and focused on Leonardtown Wharf, Tudor Hall Farm, and the west side of Leonardtown. In August of 2022, the town submitted an application for a grant with the Department of Housing and Community Development for refining the Phase 2 waterfront plan and taking it to the next level of design. We received word last week that we received $20,000 of HCD grant money as we had requested. The town council had also put $124,400 in the FY23 budget to pave the way for continuing to explore grants and partnerships to ensure the proposed improvements at the waterfront would become a reality. The proposed work is attached, scope of work is attached, and the consultants are actually scheduled to begin work next week. They would be here next week for a couple of days. So this will focus on a few different areas. It would take the west side recommendations, and we would look at more detailed siting of a parking facility and possibly one other recommendation from the plan. And then we would also look at the wharf and take the food hall, the carousel, and the splash pad to the next level so we could actually put it out for RFQs and take it to the next level. And then lastly would be to focus on the retail recruitment package. That was kind of what spurred this entire downtown plan on a number of years ago, was the need to recruit more retail in the downtown, but we wanted to kind of lay the foundation and make sure we had what we needed in place. So they will actually be coming up with a packet for us to be able to market the town and recruit more retail. And part of this we plan on rolling out at the State of the Town this year, probably in March. And so we look forward to finally having that in place. It actually goes hand in hand as well with us applying for the Main Street designation. So kind of everything coming together like we actually had a plan.
So just for clarification, the west side is like the Tudor Hall Farm behind Shepherd's Old Field.
Right, well, it would be anything like Bell Motor,
Yeah, anything
west,
back that-
back like
that
Shepherd's Old Field. And if you remember, there was a large park that was planned back there. Then we had all of Tudor Halls and any of the infill in the west side. So just starting, I think the garage is becoming more and more relative to moving forward. And so if they could take that to the next level so we can start looking for grants, and if we find money, then we'd be in a position where we're ready to go ahead and apply for a grant to actually make that happen. And then there were other recommendations in there. So as we talk through it next week, kind of honing in on maybe another parcel that they would kind of take to the next level. You know, do performance, kind of look at, you know, what's going to be needed to make that happen. And then with at the wharf, we wouldn't actually do architecturals at this point. We do have in here that we could take it to hire an architect, but we're not really sure until we put out an RFQ to see what, you know, people come back with. Maybe they want to propose their own design, so we kind of just at least kind of get an idea of what we want to put in the RFQ and get that ready to go out. So the total for this work that they're proposing at this point is $52,000, and we do have $20,000 in a grant, and then we had also put aside the money to fund the rest of it.
And Lachelle, is this the last phase with this project?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, we still have a lot, you know, we did a feasibility study on the hotel conference center, but it really wasn't finalized. And so once Tudor Hall would get started, we would probably want to take that to update the feasibility study. So it's kind of really steps, and because there are so many different aspects, we can't really do everything at once. So just as things start making sense to move forward, just kind of taking it to the next detail.
Sure, thank you.
And the really good thing about Mahan Reichel and Arnett Muldrow, I'm a big fan of, you know, keeping someone who in place that has a long history. They've worked really well with us. You don't have to start over from scratch. I mean, you spend so much time and money every time you bring in a new consultant, and we've been very happy with them. They've also done work at the airport with the county and also Visit St. Mary's. So they really have a great grasp of the whole county now after they've done the original work with the town. So that's really be really helpful with the retail recruitment piece.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they'll kind of connect everything, make it all work.
Yep.
Just need a
Any
motion.
comments, questions?
I'll make the motion. We're ready.
Okay.
I move to approve the scope of work for the next phase of the downtown waterfront plan with Mahan and Reichel and Arnett Muldrow in the amount of $52,000.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
And then just one final thing, we did hear that we received a $50,000 Maryland State Arts Council grant for the archways, so we'll be moving forward with those. I'm really excited about that we got the full amount. That's wonderful.
Yep.
Remind me too, we already have the design, or people have already
Yes, we
sent
had
in
to
the
put
design,
out, we had
but
to
we
put out
haven't
an
selected?
RFQ, and we accepted Billy over
Right,
at the Bell Motor site, Billy Gibson, and he proposed the all-metal structure on Fenwick Street that says downtown district, and then for the waterfront district, it has the brick pillars, and then
Right.
the archway is metal.
Okay, I remember that.
Kind of matches the courthouse
Right.
there. So.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
And-
How far down are we doing? I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
How
go
far
ahead.
down are we doing the sign on Fenwick Street?
Fenwick Street, it's right past, as you further east, past the driveway to Fenwick Inn. It's just a little bit down the hill. So we went out and looked about trying to avoid utilities, trying to avoid electric lines, and where it would make the most sense, and get the width that we need, and because we have to make sure it's high enough with fire trucks and other large equipment that goes down that street. So that seemed to be the best location where it's not going to block anybody, and I think that'll work really well.
I think it'll, look nice coming down the hill to really feel like you're being welcomed
Yeah.
to Leonardtown.
And hopefully it'll slow people down too, and
Yeah,
they'll
that's
realize
right.
they're coming into a district that's more, commercial.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Carousel mentioned in here, that's the fire department's carousel.
Correct, we have
Oh,
it in
very good.
storage.
Yep.
Yes.
The antique 120-year-old fire.
That's so
the
cool.
20s, I think it was. It was from the 20s or 30s, I think.
Yeah, it's like 100 years old, almost 100 years
Needs-
old.
I guess it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Probably sure it needs some.
Oh, it needs lots of work. But that's okay.
But what a cool unveiling. 100
know.
years
Yeah.
for a carousel. You can have a good market.
Definitely.
Okay, anything else for Lachelle? All right, moving on to my report. Speaking of the fire department, was able to go to the installation Saturday. It was a very nice event. I know a couple of you were able to make it, so thank them for everything they do every day. So it's very, very important to our town and our county, so thank you. And with that, also, coming up on the 21st is the Volunteer Rescue Squad installation of officers, if anybody can make that. Look forward to that. And there's no one from the LBA here, but there is a meeting on Friday.
Yeah.
Friday. Quite a few going on. They actually have Lachelle on the agenda, which she didn't know about.
Well, I knew, but I was a little more detailed than I thought.
Yeah, talking about the arches going up, the consultants, the retail recruitment program, and talking about the state of the town, doing that in March. So, talking about other grants, talking about the Mall Dyer Days, the couple concerts on the square coming up, and Brandy will be talking about events in the next 4 weeks. And then Jimmy Hayden about the music at the wharf this coming year. So quite a bit going on. There is a new Arts Council executive director, and Joe will be there to talk about the theater. I was hoping he'd be able to be here today to talk about the theater, but it really is.
It looks awesome.
It's
Yeah,
real nice.
grand.
So
Really nice.
I think that's going to be a big draw for the
Yeah.
town.
Oh,
so.
absolutely.
And then, of course, talking about the Salted Scoop moving to the square. Then the concept shops at Bell Motor Lot, which we've talked about. And then, of course, the bakery that's going there also. So a lot going on in town. So,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. Okay, we'll move on to council reports, events. Heather?
Looks like there's not much to report on, except that, like you just mentioned, the plans for the Leonardtown Southern, our summer music festival, are underway. Curious, so are we going to have the Mall Dyer Days again at the end of February? So that's great news.
Yep, it's expanded.
Oh, what does that
It's gonna be
mean?
a weekend.
Yeah, there's.
Oh, the whole weekend.
Scavenger hunt, they have a mentalist that's gonna be performing at the Rex.
A who?
A mentalist.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna be, they're like the #1 act across the country, this mentalist, so it should be really good.
And tickets for
then,
that?
They haven't gone on sale
Okay.
yet, but they will be. Visit St. Mary's is working with, Joe and Kira at the Rex.
Okay.
And we'll have the cocktail contest again, scavenger hunt, all the activities at the Historical Society like they had last year. I think Visit St. Mary's has reserved all the rooms at the hotel for packages for, people coming into town for the whole weekend, so they'll be promoting that, outside of the town, or outside of the county for people to come and spend the weekend. And so, we're trying to grow it every year. Visit St. Mary's has taken it on. It's one of their really larger events to promote. So
That's great news.
I'm gonna try to do it as a most spirited week or
yeah,
most spirited place.
We'll, we're trying to finalize kind of a logo and calling it a Leonardtown most spirited place. And so yeah, it should be fun.
Awesome.
That's super fun. And then,
I guess, one of the things I appreciate is that email distro.
So just to remind everybody to sign up and get updates for
Oh.
all the events that are happening in Leonardtown. It's really helpful. So, yes.
Yep, okay, thank you. And Nick, Community Development and Planning.
All right, thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have to report on is the Route 5 work. It's delayed again, so yeah, I know it'll be done.
back today, right?
I think,
They've been doing a little bit of work, but not.
it'll be done in our lifetime, I promise everybody. So just please be patient, but hopefully it'll by the spring maybe they can have this done. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. But otherwise, that's all I had.
Again, with asphalt plants shutting down,
Right.
that's why it's delayed until the spring now, so.
That's because of the winter.
Right.
Yeah, they can't wait.
Doesn't feel much like winter. Feels more like spring.
That's Maryland. Stick around, it'll be cold tomorrow.
Yeah. That it?
Yep, that is.
Thank you. Utilities, Christie.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't really have anything to report. Just hope everybody had a happy new year and looking forward to 2023, which is, still can't believe we're in 2023.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Okay. Jay, Southern Maryland Municipal Association.
All right, Mayor, thank you. So Wednesday, I'm going to Annapolis. We're having a Southern Maryland Municipal Association chapter meeting. So that's in Annapolis, and I know Teresa Coons I saw today where she's joining us. And I think 2 other MML employees will be there as well. So it's good to have them, and they're with us. And then afterwards, I'll be attending the legislative dinner. That's also in Annapolis the same day. In addition, I also attended the fire department banquet. So very nice event. Always appreciate them inviting us. And also, just say again, congratulations to Bob Medensky, since he received his 30-year lifetime member. So that's a huge achievement. So, yeah. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mary, Business Development and Retention.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I've got a ton of stuff to talk about. So I'll just give you a little brief update as to tax law changes, because of course I'm doing all the updates, planning for this year for my clients and for my employees. So some of the things that were passed last year, the energy efficient credits, and that's including, there's a back to 30% credit on solar panels. Those solar panels or wind turbines, anything that you put into your house, you'll get 30% credit for. There's a $1,000 credit if you put in a charging system in your garage, like an electric vehicle charging system. So that's cool. There's, they've expanded the new car credits. If you buy an energy efficient car, now there's no longer a cap on 200,000 cars that were sold. So now pretty much anybody can get the $7,500 new credit on those cars. It used to be like you had to be one of the first 200,000 people to buy a car and you would get the credit. So they've taken that away. So now you get the $7,500 for a new credit, and or you could get $4,000 for a used car. So a used energy efficient car. So that's kind of cool that that's out there. The Secure Act 2.0 was just passed on December 30th. Really read into it. It's really interesting. There are lots of great things that are doing for savings, really helping people try to save money. They're expanding the catch-up contributions for retirements. They're pushing back the RMDs, required minimum distribution ages again, so that's going back. There's this fantastic thing, which if I could pull up my soapbox for 1 second, Maryland, the 529 plans are like my favorite tax loophole out there, and they've actually expanded the 529 plan. So if your child doesn't use it for college, you can roll it into a Roth IRA.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that? Yes. So there are some caveats around that, but really looking at that is absolutely one of my favorite credits, and Maryland has a great 529 plan. So I recommend everybody set it up. I think my kids have 3 of them, per, because the grandparents have set them up. You can set them up for numerous people, and I don't know if you guys knew this, in Maryland, depending on what your income level is, if you put $25, sometimes if you put $25 into the 529 plan, Maryland will match you $500. So it's a huge thing. So really look into it. Really look into the Maryland 529 plan.
One question there with the Maryland 529 plans, does it have to be a Maryland college?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 different types of plans that Maryland offers. One is the prepaid college plan, and one is the Maryland savings plan. I always recommend the Maryland savings plan because that's open. You can use it for anything. You can use it for college, you can use it for trade school, you can use it for books, you can use it for room and board, you can use it pretty much. I mean, I tell my kids, because if you don't use this, my soapbox. If your child doesn't use it, you can always change the beneficiary. So say my child's brilliant and she gets a full ride scholarship to Harvard. She just doesn't need the money. That's great. I can change the beneficiary to the next child, so I can keep the money in that 529 plan. If all of my kids, don't need the money, I can bring it back to me. I can make myself the beneficiary of that 529 plan. And now that's my underwater basket weaving course in Hawaii. That'll be paying for that. So when you guys don't see me, I'll be for a semester in Hawaii doing that. 529 plans are fantastic, but yes, look at the difference between the investment plan and the prepaid college plan, because the prepaid college is for mostly Maryland schools. The investment plan is for anything. But if you guys have any questions, I work with these all the time. Fantastic. In Maryland, personal property taxes, I think I talked about that last summer. No property taxes for people that have under $20,000 in equipment, so that's a huge win for my small businesses. This is fun. So, November, I get an email from this website that says Maryland Saves. And it says, we're gonna offer retirement plans for any small business out there. And if you fill out this form, if you go on this Maryland Saves website, now you don't have to pay the filing fee for the state of Maryland for your business. And I was like, what? This is the craziest thing I ever heard of. And so people are calling me, they're like, should I do this? And I'm like, I wouldn't do it. I mean, that sounds like, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. What? Are you kidding me? I get an email out of nowhere that says, here, fill all this in, give me all your EIN numbers and everything. And yeah, we're legit. I went through state of Maryland, I went through I could not find anything that says it was legit. But I was like, all right, look, I'll try it because it's me. If I screw anybody up, I'll screw myself up. I'm not gonna recommend anybody else to do it. So I went on the form, I filled it out, and I said, yep, I offer a retirement plan. That was it, nothing happened after that. Got no email, nothing. So over the weekend, I went and did my personal property tax return. I didn't have to pay the $300. I was like, what, are you kidding me? So I called State of Maryland this morning. She's like, yeah, you're flagged. You don't have to pay it. I'm like, could I get an email? Could I get a certificate? Could I get anything? She's like, I don't know. And I said, well, why don't you have it on your website? Why doesn't the state of Maryland, because, right? Like, does that sound like a scam to anybody else? Like, Maryland Saves. And she's like, well, we don't promote it because it's not us. I don't know. I don't understand. But definitely something to continue to research. So I thought that was kind of cool. Couple other Maryland tax credits that came out. I thought this was a fun one. They have a $100,000 exclusion for any Maryland resident that's over 100 years old. Oh. How fun. Isn't that a cool, random. I always wonder who lobbies for these things, but I thought that was kind of cool. Also, there's a new retirement credit. We were talking about this one today for retired forestry rangers, something else. And I was like, oh, I think I know who lobbied for that one. So we got that one. Anyway, and one last retirement credit. We heard about, retired people aren't going to be there. We're going to save billions of dollars in Maryland. It's $1,000 credit if you're over 65, depending on what your income level is. So there is a credit in Maryland, an additional retired credit that came out, but it is capped. I think it's $1,000. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Every time I think, there's nothing changed this year, then I start doing all the research. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's gonna be a long year, but it's good. Ask lots of questions. The Secure Act is fantastic. There's lots of great stuff in there, and that's all I have.
Okay. Anybody have anything else for the good of the order, good of the town? Okay. Just to remind everybody, I am available after the meetings. If anybody wants to meet with me, I'm available. But anyway, nothing else. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.